Last week was, well, I didn't like it. So today, before I say what's going to happen today, immediately after the episode last week, I said that you'd never see it again. So today, I'm going to offer a little bit of consolidation, I think that's the word, and I'll show you clips from what happened last week. I'm Ryan, and this is the C2Can Radio Show. Alright, now, before we do cover our recap, you might have already noticed that none of my co-hosts are here. Well, because I don't really need them for this, since it's just a recap, and they simply don't want to. And that's fine with me. So now it's time for the first segment. This one is Stupid Words and Phrases. This came from a book that I think my dad got from my grandpa. If I remember correctly, it's called Well Duh, Our Stupid World and Welcome to It. And there's lots of stupidity in there. So let me just get it set up real quick. Alright, here it is. Alright, the first part of our stupid stuff, we're gonna split this up into different weeks. There are 4 sections, all in 2 books. This first one will be,
What?
We have 2 books and 4 sections. We'll split it up into 4 sections.
I don't. Books about what? Sections of what? You haven't explained anything.
Yeah, I don't understand what's happening here.
Alright.
I don't either.
This book is called Well Duh, Our Stupid World and Welcome to It. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna read you 18 dumb newspaper headlines. We're gonna start with 8 today, and we're gonna do 10 tomorrow, or whenever we're gonna do it again.
Why not 9 and 9?
Alright, let's do 9. Let's do 9 and 9.
I don't understand your logic sometimes.
Yeah, I know.
18. How can I split that up? I know. We'll do 8 and 10. That's right down the middle. Oh, Lord.
Alright. First one.
Oh, you got a board back there with the title. That's cool.
Yeah.
It is nifty. I like it.
Alright, first one. Survey finds dirtier subways after cleaning jobs were cut.
Okay. What is this segment? You're just reading out of the book?
Yeah.
Okay.
If each of us wants to read 3, that's fine.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Alright, number 2.
Well, why don't you read 3 and then pass it and then pass it, rather than having to pass it every time.
Alright. Low wages said key to poverty.
Okay.
Malls try to attract shoppers from the Baltimore Sun.
Malls trying to attract dollars.
They don't say. Oh, you skipped one because you don't want to say the word sex.
Yeah.
Study finds sex pregnancy link.
Huh.
Very interesting. I didn't know that before.
Official, only rain will cure drought. Teenage girls often have babies fathered by men.
Oh my god. That can't be real.
I wish it wasn't.
That can't be real. They're even split up in the book already, 9 and 9. Why would you go for 8 and 10?
I don't know.
They're already broken up that way for you. I don't understand. Did you really skip one so you wouldn't have to say the word sex?
Yes.
Say the word sex.
No.
Say it.
No.
S-E-X. What does that spell?
6.
It doesn't spell 6. 6 is a number. That's
I know.
S-I-X.
I'm not gonna say it.
Why? It's not a bad word.
I know.
It's not a bad word at all.
Fine. Sex.
Wow,
There you go.
great job. Nice job. Way to go.
Bravo.
Now say shit.
No.
Damn. Hell. Bitch. Ass. Say something.
No. Maybe when I get old.
Oh, you're 14 years old. Oh, God. Well, here's an interesting. From the Miami Herald. Man shoots neighbor with machete. I bet he did.
What's the machete to
A
be?
machete is a type of sword. Well,
Big
it's
knife.
a big knife, yeah.
But it's practically a
Big knife, small sword. It's a blade. You don't shoot people with them. From the Daily Progress.
You can't even read it.
No, it's funny, stupid. Tomatoes come in big, little, and medium sizes. Oh, God. And from the Los Angeles Times. Man run over by freight train dies. I would assume he would have. Tomatoes come in.
Do you want to do the other 9 right now?
No.
The tomato thing reminded me of a joke I heard the other day. It's like, did you hear about the psychic midget that escaped from prison? He was a small, medium at large.
I like that.
Yeah.
Small, medium, and large.
So, that was our stupid segment. I enjoyed doing that, and stay tuned next week for the other 9 from that book. We'll be right back. This next segment was introduced last week. It's called The Wheel of Something. Alright, I'll go first. Oh, thank you. Does everyone remember how this works?
You spin the wheel, you take the paper that's in the cup of the number you rolled,
You gotta do
spun,
it.
and then do it.
That was a bad roll. Let me try it again. Number 1. Describe with as much detail as possible something I don't like about myself. Okay. Some of my bad habits. Like, for instance, my smelly fingers habit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So what is our topic?
I have to describe with as much as detail
That's
as
just for
possible.
him. That's for him.
I have to describe with as much detail as possible something I don't like about myself.
And he said his bad habits, like when he smells his fingers.
We'll just stop doing it.
That's why it's a habit. It's not like so easy to
It's not right, but it's not involuntary. So just make an effort to not do it, and break yourself of the habit.
Yeah. To describe as much detail as possible, I've had it ever since, in Manahawkin. I think it was, yeah, it was, I've had this habit for a while. What I do is I take my fingers, I just do that.
And you smell them
Yeah.
for no apparent
for no reason.
Yep.
So just don't do it.
Yeah.
My turn?
Yep, Tim's turn.
That wasn't even a roll. That doesn't count. That's not spin.
4.
Okay. Write a poem about your pet and post it. Write an impromptu poem about Oscar and post it on Facebook. It must be at least 20 lines, with at least 7 words in each line.
What? That's a very long.
That's a long poem.
That's a long poem. Who submitted that?
Nana.
That's very long.
That's a long poem.
That's 20 lines?
20 lines.
140 words.
At least 7 words in each line. About Oscar.
It's 140 words.
I'm not much of a poet.
Yeah, but that's the thing about poetry. It doesn't have to rhyme. It doesn't have to have any structure. It could be whatever you want it to be.
That's true.
Alright, so why don't you go get your phone and Oscar poemize.
I got my phone.
He's got his phone. So I already spun. I got 6, so I'll read this while you
Didn't you get
start.
6 last week? Or 2 weeks ago?
I don't remember.
I don't have any kind of word processor thing on here.
Just find some notes.
Things I like to do in
Let me grab my notebook. I'll write it in there.
time.
20 lines. 7 words.
You don't need a word processor. You're doing it to Facebook. Just open up your Facebook status thing and post it right into there.
Yeah, but...
That's your word processor.
Easy enough.
Things I like to do in my spare time. I have to act out 3 things I like to do when I have nothing else to do.
You don't have to act out if you don't want to.
Well, this I am. I'm sitting. I'm playing on my phone. I'm playing a game, reading, watching a movie. I'm doing all of the things right now. Say, staring at a screen. Staring at this screen. Sleeping. I like to sleep if I always have something to do. I go to work and school full time. Always things to do.
Free time is not something that you have a lot of.
It's not. I don't have a ton of free time.
So that was our Wheel of Something segment last week. I'm sorry it ended kind of abruptly. That's just how I edited it. We'll be back in a second. Before I move on to the next segment, I'd like to apologize for all the noise that's coming from that laptop up there. It's been doing it for a while now, and it gets it's just so annoying. Alright. Next segment. My science. Alright, it's time to do a little science stuff. Some science stuff. Today we're going to talk about the science of balloons.
The science of balloons.
Yeah. Now, this is your standard latex party balloon built on top of a Tinker Toy structure with a clothespin thingy. Not a clothespin.
Chip clip.
What?
It's a chip clip.
Chip clip. So what I'm gonna do?
Can you just sit down and get involved back in the show?
Stop looking for your notebook and just sit
I
down.
was trying to put that stuff back in there.
Okay.
Community. 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 Community.
All right. So I'm gonna release this chip clip and just watch what happens. Well, that was a lot better than I expected.
Alright, in typical balloon fashion, it sort of moved all over the place.
Do you want a full effect now, or do you just want to leave it at that?
What do you mean?
Do it how it's supposed to happen.
What are you supposed to do?
Same thing, it's just supposed to fly around faster.
What?
Hold on.
I don't understand you sometimes. Is part of your experiment trapping it inside that little box?
What?
Is part of your experiment trapping it in that little box?
No.
It should be.
Alright.
Why do you have the box then?
Just as a stand to hold the balloon, so I don't have to keep pinching it. Alright, let's release the chip clip again.
It's behind you.
That was supposed to happen.
Okay. Oh, I have an idea.
Yeah.
Put the balloon inside the box.
Okay.
Inflate it partially and then stick it in the box and inflate it the rest of the way while it's in the box. Then clip it so then it's clipped and the balloon's inflated in here, you know what I mean?
Okay.
Okay? And then let it go and see if the box... You just see what happens. Do you think will it fly out of there as soon as it's small enough to fit through a window, or will it stay put the whole time?
Don't know. Size enough?
Probably can't get much more than that.
Yeah, that's good.
Alright. So we release it
Turn it this way so it's aimed up.
like
Turn it
this.
on its end.
Like this. Wait, what?
Yeah, that's. Yeah. No. Nope. No. There you go.
Alright, let's see what happens.
See if it just stays put or will it fly out of one of the openings as soon as it can. No, just
Let's try that again. That
you held it in place.
that con clip.
Right. Yeah, you gotta put it in the box. There you go.
I know what I'm doing.
Do you have any helium?
What?
Do you have any helium?
I wish we did.
See how many balloons it takes to.
Alright, let's try this again.
There it goes. Yeah, it launched out as soon as it could.
Yep. Exactly what we had.
Is that it? That's your balloon science?
Now there's two more segments left.
Balloon science. Yeah. Balloon science.
I gotta put this in super vent. Okay. Alright, this next one will be a balloon tone.
I want to move to Michigan and be an intern on the Free Beer and Hot Wings show. It'd be fun. I wish they were still in Jersey.
They went to Michigan?
They've been in Michigan for a while now. They started in Michigan.
Wow.
And then they went to Jersey, and then they're back in Michigan.
No.
Based in Michigan. Grand Rapids. 97.9 GRD, Grand Rapids Rock Alternative. It is the Free Beer and Hot Wings show. 97 degrees, partly cloudy, chance of showers. They always do a weather report when they do the local. So what is it? This is the same thing.
Anyway. Slowly inflating balloon. Deflating.
I don't understand what the point of that was.
Sounds like a dying elephant.
I don't understand what the point of that was.
The point of that was just to have a little fun with it and make a balloon sound.
Why did you have to have another stand built for that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Alright. This last one is a balloon hovercraft that I found in Science Bob. Have you heard of Science Bob?
I have not heard of Science Bob.
That's just an old CD with the soap dispenser pop thingy on it.
Soap dispenser pop top. Oh, I felt like I think of Dawn.
Yeah.
And then would you use hot glue?
Yeah.
You used too much hot glue. You know what you should have used? I mean, you can use hot glue. It obviously works.
That's what it told me to use.
You could use silicone.
We don't have any.
I have some in the car.
Okay.
Don't ask me why. You could use silicone. Use a little less of it. Keep it lighter.
Alright.
Am I correct in assuming you lift up here to get it to go?
Yeah. See? It's just supposed to hover across the table like that. See?
It's kind of neat.
Pretty cool. And notice when it lost air, it stopped moving.
Kind of neat.
Alright.
Pretty neato. I didn't think I could blow it up from this side without taking a balloon off, but you can. I can do it.
Don't break the CD on me.
I'm not gonna break the CD. It's just a blank CD anyway.
Alright.
I don't understand something though.
What?
How does it not let the,
I don't know either. Alright. And if I press down on it, it stops making noise.
Right. Slide it over. It's like an air hockey table.
Yeah. Like a puck with a balloon attached to it. See? It's hard to move it. Alright.
That's kind of neat.
And that will do it for balloon science. We'll take a break. Next segment, random fact of the day. Which actually took a lot longer than you might think. Before we do our word pronouncement, it's time for a random fact of the day.
Random fact of the day.
Did you know that you can make diamonds out of peanut butter?
No, you can't.
You can't?
No.
Why not?
What do you mean, why not? Why would you be able to?
I don't know. Alright.
That's what they say. I don't believe it.
I don't believe it for a second. Wasn't that on a mental floss thing? I feel like
so.
I think I did.
Maybe? I don't know.
Why would you be able to make diamonds out of peanut butter?
I don't know.
That seems insane. If you're gonna read a random fact, it's gotta be a fact. Diamonds. I'm gonna look it up while you move on to the next thing. Out of peanut butter.
Do you wanna,
Can peanut butter really be made into diamonds? Oh, maybe it can.
Alright, do you wanna do the word pronunciation map now?
Yes.
Alright. Gonna have to turn this.
You can make really crappy diamonds out of peanut butter, so yes. So I was wrong, you can, but they're crappy.
Alright. It still was pretty quick, so we're just gonna move right on to the next segment. I'm gonna need a minute though. Our next segment, word pronunciations map. This was mentioned earlier, but now it's time to do it.
Okay, so that's the first method when we just talked about caramel versus caramel. The 2 syllable is everything you see in red, the 3 syllable everything you see in blue. And the reason we're doing this segment is because it gets sort of funny as you sort of analyze yourself and figure out what you say and where you come from and sort of realize that it's... Actually, there's a little pocket in South New Jersey for some reason that ties in with the rest of the country. It says caramel.
Most of Pennsylvania says caramel too.
Which is kind of weird. But anyway. So we move on to the next one here. There it goes. Okay. Residents of the far north have an oddly Canadian way of pronouncing the word bin, B-E-E-N. With a short I as in sit. Bin is red. That's everybody in the country aside from a few northern states. Right. With a short E as in set.
So it's Ben.
So Ben. Some people say Ben, bin, Ben.
That's stupid.
And then you get those couple of states. Couple of states.
It's like part of Rhode Island, maybe.
Green? I don't see any green on the map, but apparently it's in there somewhere. That pronounce it with a long E is in C, so they pronounce it bean. Well,
that's a Canadian thing.
That's a Canadian thing, yeah. Canadian thing. So now we move on to here, and this is a map that is obviously mostly red, so most of the country's on board, and that it's, for whatever reason, it's a Bowie knife in Texas and DC versus a Bowie knife anywhere where you want. Everywhere else in the world. The first vowel in Bowie knife. For everywhere except for Texas and DC, it is pronounced a Bowie knife. Wait, hold on, no. It's a Bowie knife everywhere except Texas and DC. Texas and DC, say Bowie Bowie knife. What is Bowie? B-O-W-I-E. Bowie, like David.
Yeah.
David Bowie? No. But we have a town in Maryland that's Bowie, spelled B-O-W-I-E.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's an update. Scroll down. Right here.
Update. Enthusiastic Marylanders have alerted us that there is indeed a town named Bowie, Maryland, that is pronounced Bowie. That solves that. No word yet from Texans. Update number 2 from a Texan. It's pronounced Bowie because it's named after Jim Bowie, pronounced Bowie, who played a major role in the Texas Revolution. That explains why we're the only ones who pronounce it correctly. Yeah, there is a town in Maryland, B-O-W-I-E, that is pronounced Bowie.
Oh, this is kind of funny.
Americans can't even agree how to pronounce crayon. It is sort of all over the place. So you have your the red area. Yeah, when you want to control this one, it's getting tough to do.
Sure.
Okay, so all your red area, crayon, 2 syllables.
I'm gonna need that mouse pad.
Just use the board. That one's it's been acting up even with the mouse pad.
Yeah.
So just but you don't really need to move the mouse. You just need to wheel it. You just need to use the wheel. So crayon over in the red, 2 syllables where the second syllable rhymes with the word dawn. So crayon. So some people are saying crayon. Most of the country out in the west, it looks like says crayon. It's not a crayon. Who says that?
It's a crayon.
It's a crayon.
No, it's on, not on.
Crayon. Right. It's not on. Right.
I still think that's better than saying crown.
Okay, that's where we get green. I don't see any green. Again, on the map, they're highlighting some green. I don't see any. I don't see any on the map, but they're apparently people pronounce it with 1 syllable, like man, crayon, C-R-A-N.
Crayon.
Crayon. And then yellow,
Like
again.
the prefix
It's a
to
little
crayon
bit-
apple.
Right, exactly. It's like half the word cranberry. Like, and then, and then again, yellow. I don't see any yellow on the map.
Wait, there is a little bit.
Like a pocket over here, maybe.
Yeah.
But pronounced the same as the word crown, C-R-O-W-N. Interesting. So we move on to the next map. Lawyer versus lawyer. The South is the only place where you're going to try and call your lawyer instead of your lawyer. So everybody says lawyer, pretty much, except out in the South, where they say lawyer, L-A, 2 syllables.
Lawyer and lawyer.
So the red pronounces it like B and boy. I'm sorry, like boy, rhymes it with boy, lawyer. And the blue rhymes it with the word saw. So lawyer and lawyer. Technically, I guess it should be lawyer because it's somebody who practices law.
Yeah.
So they're probably right. But
Alright, next one.
the South is also really into slaw. The North and West call it coleslaw. Can you coleslaw slaw? So, can you call coleslaw slaw? So the red, which is sort of lightly in Texas, but really strong out in Tennessee, North Carolina, Virginia, West Virginia, South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, Arkansas, all in this area here, all in the red. Just call it slaw. And then the blue states, which is the North and out West, just call it coleslaw, the way it should be. And then you got a pocket of green and yellow, apparently, but... Try and breeze through the rest of these. This is the deepest and most obvious linguistic divide in America. It's also an example of how everyone in South Florida pronounces things in the northern U.S. style. What do you use to address a group of 2 or more people? All the red says you guys. The north is all you guys. And again, that pocket in South Florida trying to be northerners, because South Florida is all old people that have moved from the north to get to warmer climates. So they bring their linguistic traits with them. Blue, which sort of the light pocket of blue. The blue is actually what's lightening up those pockets of red. And then there's the northern part of Texas. There's that diagonal line there is all the blue. And that's you. So addressing more than one people.
Hey, you.
More than, exactly. Hey, you, referring to a bunch of
Hey, you
people.
guys.
You guys is the way it should be. Being from north.
And then we get to.
And then down in the south, obviously, is y'all. Everybody
There you
knows
go.
that. And then yellow. right there in
Kentucky.
that is
Big
Kentucky.
Kentucky.
Yeah, right in the
Says
middle
you
of
all.
Kentucky. It says you all. Hey, you all. Who does that? If you're gonna do that, you might as well just say y'all. That's
Yeah.
There's a bit of.
I always say you guys. I always say you guys.
I just say guys. There you go.
We are apparently a nation divided over mayonnaise. And it comes down to syllables. And this one's actually sort of all over the place. Mostly blue. And the blue is 2 syllables with the word man. So mayonnaise. 3 syllables is the red, which is, for whatever reason, New Jersey is a state divided on every single one. There seems to be a line between the North and South Jersey. 3 syllables, mayonnaise. Who says what? It's not mayonnaise. Who do you really? Does anybody enunciate? Do you enunciate the 3 syllables?
Mayonnaise.
You kind of do.
I say it mayonnaise.
Yeah, I mean, there's an O there.
You kind of do enunciate
Mayonnaise, yeah.
You kind of do enunciate that 3rd syllable. No, it's just mayonnaise.
I say it mayonnaise.
You said it too.
Mayonnaise.
You kind of do.
2 syllables. Mayonnaise. Mayonnaise.
I think I'm just more grammatically inclined to
Mayonnaise.
say the whole word.
There are pockets. There are pockets of using both interchangeably. So maybe
There's-
Yeah, I think it's situational. If you
Mayonnaise.
just say it quick, mayonnaise.
if you say it quick, it sounds mayonnaise. But if you
But if you slow it down, it's mayonnaise.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
Alright, next one.
Oh, this one is just north versus south, and this is
Pajamas.
pajamas. Okay. Pajamas, and this one is really blue. Okay. The second vowel in pajamas is it pajamas or pajamas. That's where this gets into play. So the red, which is the south, and then from the south up the east coast,
New England, too.
pronounces that second syllable the same way you would hear it in the word father. So pajamas.
Pajama.
Pajamas.
And
the blue-
pajamas.
It's jam. Pajamas, exactly. And this one is sort of New Jersey falls strongly into the red, which is the pajamas. Maryland, strongly into pajamas. Pennsylvania, you start to see a split. New York, you see a split. Down, like I said, south, like I said, all the red there is pajamas, all the blue is pajamas. So
There's a
it's
small pocket. in
sort of
Louisiana.
nice even split there
New
mostly, but
Orleans.
pajamas. But it's interesting to see, figure out how you say the words and then relate it back to the map.
Next one.
And it sort of falls in line every time. Like I say it this way, is where am I on the map? Oh yeah, that's exactly how it should be said from where I came from. Okay, this one's crazy. Everyone pronounces pecan pie differently. It is sort of all over the place. So the reddish pinkish, which sort of scattered throughout, it's the majority, say
Pecan.
pecan, as those are the 2 syllables. Pecan.
Pecan.
Pecan. Okay?
Again, that's lightly in the whole country.
That's mostly sort of all over the place, yeah. Blue, which there's a little bit of blue. It's pecan. Pecan pie. Pecan pie. I've heard that.
Pecan. Like in the south.
Yep, green, which is the northeast, and again, Jersey being that split for whatever reason. The top half of New Jersey versus the bottom half of New Jersey, it's the divide. And that's pecan.
Pecan.
And then yellow, which is
I think
Wisconsin.
North Jersey likes to consider itself New York.
That's
so they
what-
just adopt all.
Yeah,
of
that's
their
basically what it seems. And then yellow, again, Wisconsin and part of Michigan there. The arm coming off of Wisconsin is Michigan, right?
This is Michigan. Michigan's divided.
Right, it has exactly. But they say pecan. Pecan.
Pecan.
So you have pecan, and pecan. The red and the yellow are almost the same. It's just how you enunciate it.
It's pecan and pecan.
Right, exactly. But again, that one's 4 different pronunciations. Oh my god, there's some deep red here. What is this one? This is soda and pop. Everyone knows that the Midwest calls it pop, the Northeast and West Coast call it soda, and the South is actually really into brand loyalty.
They just call it.
They just call it Coke. They just call it Coke. So
And
the
for
North,
those who
again,
call it soft drink.
deep red in the Northeast for soda. Over in the West is soda. Pocket right in the middle of the country for soda. Pop. You hear a lot of pop. Down in the South called Coke. And then in the middle of Indiana, maybe, is where you see soft drink.
No, there's some in South Carolina.
South Carolina.
South
I don't really see yellow.
There's a few borders too, but
Mhm.
mostly South Carolina.
I'm not seeing really yellow in the South Carolina. But anyway. The lobsters are tearing this country apart. What do you call the miniature lobster? Before I scroll down to the actual choices, I'm going to ask Timmy, because I don't know if you've been over these maps. I've seen these, but we've seen these before.
Yeah.
What do you call the miniature lobster that one finds in lakes and streams? For example, a crustacean of the family Astrid. You know, the little...
Yeah, like a crawdad or a crawfish.
Well, what do you call it?
Well, first time I ever heard it, I heard it called a crawdad, so that's usually what I call them.
Okay. Green is crawdad, and that's where you sort of get into the West Virginia there, and Kentucky, Nebraska, Arkansas, sort of middle of on the west, in the middle, and then the middle of the country is crawdad. Blue is crayfish, that's up in the northeast. Red is crawfish, which is what I've always heard and said.
Deep in Louisiana.
And then there's some people that have no word for this critter, apparently.
Probably because they've never seen it.
I guess so. So tiny lobsters are tearing this country apart. And so are traffic circles. What do you call a traffic situation in which several roads meet in a circle and you have to get off at a certain point? What do you call that?
Traffic circle.
Traffic circle, right?
Traffic circle.
Traffic
Or a
circle.
roundabout.
Or just a circle.
Traffic circle. Roundabout. Okay, so traffic circle is the red on the map. Roundabout is the blue. So the majority of the country is actually roundabout, a lot of traffic circle. Apparently there's a chunk somewhere that doesn't have a word for it. But in the northeast,
Montana
up in the
and
New England
Montana,
area,
South Dakota.
in the New England area, they are called rotaries.
See, right up here.
Rotaries.
And
Wait
then
till we get to the water fountain one, that's my favorite.
Montana and
Yeah, there's
South
some
Dakota,
there's some
that's
green
what-
up there in Montana. Well, there's no roads in Montana. There's just like one that goes through all the cornfields and that's it. So of course there wouldn't be a circle in it. At no point would you have to change direction.
oh dear.
The northeast. Okay, this one we're so overwhelmingly outnumbered. This is the syrup versus however you want to say it.
Syrup.
The northeast quarter puts syrup on their pancakes. The first vowel in syrup. So the red is as in the word syrup, which I hate.
It's syrup.
And then blue, which is just a tiny section of Pennsylvania, the majority of New Jersey, Rhode Island and Massachusetts, a little chunk of New York there, and Delaware, it looks like. No, that's not
No,
Delaware.
that's not.
Delaware is red.
We're in the syrup zone.
The syrup zone is very, very small. Very small. So there's syrup, and syrup. S-H-I. Syrup. But yeah, we're overwhelmed on that one. Oh my god. This one's good. Philadelphia is just making it up as it goes along. What do you call the long sandwich that contains cold cuts, lettuce, and sub on?
Sub.
Red is sub. Blue is hoagie, which, again, you get a little of that in South Jersey and into Pennsylvania. And the only place in the country, Philadelphia, there's a tiny little pocket of green, they call it a hero.
That'd be Long Island.
And where's Grinders? Or Grinder as well.
Yeah, you do get a little hero, Long Island there. Yeah, Long Island has a little bit of hero. But everybody calls it a sub, except right in here they're called hoagies. And Wawa Land, they're called hoagies. This is where Wawa operates.
Yes.
That's why it's called Hoagie Fest.
And that's why they're called
Wawa
calls them
Wawa's
hoagies.
prime market right there.
But that's a lot of red. Let's ignore the East Coast West Coast split and notice that Wisconsin and Rhode Island call the water fountain a bubbler.
Yeah, that could be the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
All the red on the East Coast call it a water fountain. Out on the West Coast and up in here into Michigan call it a drinking fountain.
That's fine.
And then Wisconsin and Rhode Island call it a bubbler. And they talked about this on
Wisconsin and Rhode Island need to get their act together.
They talked about this on Free Beer and Hot Wings. They went over these maps, and Hot Wings made the excellent point. He's like, at least if I was in another section of the country and you called it a water fountain or drinking fountain, and you called it whatever, the opposite of what I called it, at least I would know what you're talking about. But if you asked me where the bubbler was, I wouldn't know what the hell you were trying to find.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
At least I could piece together drinking fountain, even when I say water fountain or vice versa. But bubbler? The Northeast and South Florida, again, of course, put on sneakers.
This was kind of covered in our question segment.
Everyone else finds a pair of tennis shoes. Pennsylvania, parts of Maryland, New Jersey, New York, Rhode Island, Delaware,
and South Florida.
Maine, Massachusetts, Vermont, New Hampshire, New England, and then a chunk of South Florida, sneakers. And then everybody else is tennis shoes. And then apparently there's a green pocket somewhere that calls them gym shoes, but...
No, it's kind of weird.
What is your general term for a big road that you drive relatively fast on?
Like a highway?
Red highway, most of the country. The West Coast, really into their freeways.
Yeah, there is a little bit of green.
And then blue actually makes a differentiation between the two. A freeway has limited access, no stoplights, intersections, etc., whereas a highway can have stoplights and intersections. And I actually agree with that, so I think I find myself in with the blue crowd there.
But there's really none. There appears to be a little yellow that in the ad says that highway is bigger than freeway.
Seriously? Alabama and Mississippi? That is terrible. What do you call it when rain falls while the sun is shining?
Rain falls all the time. A sun shower?
A sun shower, that's what I've always called it. Red, which is actually most of the country, doesn't have a term or expression for it. Blue, sun shower. Alabama and Mississippi,
It's green?
the devil is beating his wife.
Oh my god.
Right there in the middle of Alabama and Mississippi, they call that the devil beating his wife.
And then down
How
there.
can you not have an expression for that? Most of
Just
America...
call it rain.
What is, quote unquote, the city? If someone says they're going to the city, where are they going?
I say whatever.
Most of America...
Probably whatever city is you're closest to.
Yeah.
Most of America realizes that New York is really the city. The red, which you get pockets of it everywhere, but obviously mostly around New York, call it New York. Blue is other, obviously just whatever city they're closest to. Green, Chicago, because they're closest. And yellow, Boston. Even people in Massachusetts don't call Boston the city. What do you call a drive-through liquor store? They exist? These exist?
I did not know they did.
So most of actually a big chunk of the country, red, which is where we're from and pretty much the West Coast, a lot of places, I've never heard of such a thing. Blue, we have these in my area, but we have no special term for them, which is most things. And then down in the Outer Banks, North Carolina and Virginia, off the coast there, they are called brew-throughs.
Brew-throughs.
Yes, and I've seen people in there that have Outer Banks, Outer Banks T-shirts that have brew-through logos on them and whatnot. So I know the term only from seeing the shirts.
Oh, this was kind of covered on Freebird and Hot Wings.
Massachusetts, Long Island, and New Jersey are the only places that seen a difference between Mary, Mary, and Mary. This was the very, very debate. Yes. They did it with Mary, Mary, and Mary.
Very, very.
They are all okay. So red, the country. Okay, most of the country. All three of these are the same. They're not. M-E-R-R-Y, M-A-R-Y, and M-A-R-R-Y. They're not all the same, but most of the country thinks they are. That's what the red is. Blue. I don't even see blue on the map. But blue says Mary and Mary are the same and Mary is different.
There's a chunk of New Jersey.
Green, which is New Jersey. And then chunks of Massachusetts. What is that tiny? Rhode Island? Is that the tiny little one there?
Yeah, that's Rhode Island.
Rhode Island is tiny.
And
Jesus.
New Island. Long Island.
Long Island. All three are distinctly different.
Mm.
And then yellow, which is a chunk of Pennsylvania, it looks like all around Philadelphia.
Louisiana too.
It's light yellow in Louisiana. No, I mean, I'm looking at the strong yellow right now.
Oh, okay.
Mary and Mary are the same, and Mary is different. No, they're all three, they're different words. But most of the country thinks they're exactly the same. They're not the same. And that's the last one. That is the Freebird Hot Wings. That's the Berry Berry debate.
That's it.
They're the same. How do you print the name Mary is like a horse, like a mare. Mary. M-E-R-R-Y, have a Merry Christmas. And then M-A-R-R-Y, you marry somebody.
Marry.
It's
Mary.
Mary, Mary, and marry. They're three different words. I don't understand why everybody thinks they're the same. It's not Mary, Mary, Mary. They're not the same guy.
They're not.
But we're the only ones that think so.
Yeah.
It's lazy. It's lazy English. We're correct. Nobody else is correct.
And that's it for the word pronunciations. We're almost done. We'll be back. Now, before we get to the textbook, I forgot to mention this earlier that that during your Wheel of Something segment, Tim was forced to write a poem, and he still hasn't written it yet. He keeps insisting that he's not going to write it, even though he has to because it's part of the Wheel of Something. He will debut it next week. That is if he chooses to and overrules us. Alright, time for the textbook.
So it's time for the weekly textbook segment, and today we're going to tell you how everybody poops wrong. Pooping is easy, right? So easy that you can just do it sitting down over an what is that word? Interminable, like you can't determine it before.
Yes.
Interminable. So easy that you can do it sitting down over an interminable length of time. It turns out sitting at a right angle doesn't just inflict crippling spinal damage, it also slows the pooping process. That's because standard sitting toilets force the pooper to create a kink in the poop tubes. Jam the poop up all in there. How you're supposed to do it is like a catcher. Butt below the knees, waist and knees bent at acute angles, head forward so you don't witness the sin you are returning onto the earth. Remove catcher's mitt prior to wiping. You're supposed to squat without support like you're making a mound of your own right behind home plate. Modern toilets only came to prominence in the 19th century, meaning that the human race has been dumping on the go for far longer than we've been holding up with our laptops on the ceramic throne. In fact, our musculature is designed specifically to hinder defecation when we're in a standing or sitting position, presumably because otherwise a game of musical chairs would be fraught with a lot more peril. Why is that echoing so bad? Why is that mic turned up so much?
I didn't move it.
It's just loud. A recent study showed that a sample group of people who agreed to poop and then talked to a scientist about it found their elimination experience easier and up to a minute shorter in the free squat than in the now traditional sitting posture. So next time you've got the urge, try hovering above the can instead of slapping cheek and see if you don't set a land speed record yourself. Bet you didn't know. Not only is sitting on the toilet the wrong way to poop, it can also give you hemorrhoids, which will, in turn, make it even harder to poop. Life is an endless cycle of wrong poopiness.
That should do it.
That will do it.
Alright, we're almost done here, so what we're gonna do next, as a passage, just gonna be a quick recap of what happened that day.
What have we learned today, Ryan?
I'll save the one you want for later, but I learned that Timmy lost his notebook and he can't find it.
I learned that I pinched my finger between two chairs. Tim, what have you learned today?
That life is never ending cycle of wrong poopiness.
I learned that tomatoes come in 3 sizes.
I learned that
tomatoes come in little, big, and medium sizes.
I learned that insects don't fly.
I learned that insects don't fly. God, what have you learned is fun. What have you learned is fun.
Alright, and if I remember correctly, I think that will do it. So, we thank you for tuning in today, and we'll see you back next time. Alright, we're back.
Is this enough of a cushion for me to just fall off the back of the bed?
Probably not.
Would it look fun? Would it look funny if I did it?
Maybe, but I wouldn't risk it.
Like on camera? Like if I just went...
It looks funny in real life.
Alright.
Not that.
Just fling myself off the bed. Tell me if this looks funny on the camera, dude.
Okay. It looks funny.
Good.